I had no identity when it came to filmmaking. I knew I wanted to do film, but I had no guidance or no like step-by-step process on like how to get into film. I would just follow what I saw people around me do. And a lot of people around me were into the traditional narratives, Hollywood style filmmaking. And I remember pushing myself to create films like that. I began reaching kind of a point where I felt like I was a little bit stuck in terms of like my visual identity. But I knew that I was starting to neglect like my own film style and like what I wanted to do specifically. My name is Julieta. I'm from St. Augustine, Florida, and I am a creative videographer slash filmmaker, but I'm also a photographer. I've been in this weird identity crisis for about a year and a half now. Um, and I'm kind of like really burnt out at this point, and something I like to do when I'm burnt out is just switch my brain off and watch something that's comforting or something that doesn't require a lot of thinking. And oddly enough, I was attracted to like fashion films or like runway shows. I was watching a lot of like video essays about fashion houses like Vogue or Vivienne Westwood. And I realized that there was a world out there where you can make, there was, there was a world out there where filmmaking didn't have to be sophisticated or profound. It could just be pretty looking or even like weird looking. And I didn't make the discovery at that point, but as soon as I was embarking on another film project that just didn't feel like was for me, I knew that I couldn't keep doing that without feeling like miserable about it. So I just suddenly like I came across a video of a fashion film for Gucci, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is right up my alley. Like this is exactly what I want to do. And I think what was drawing me into those films was how, despite it lacking like traditional filmmaking techniques or methods, for example, the drawn out plot line, the dialogue, it was more abstract and more, in my opinion, more thought provoking because instead of having a film where you kind of follow what's going on with the story, with these fashion films or just these kind of more abstract films, you kind of have to uh, dig to find the meaning for it. It's almost like a poem. When you had to analyze a poem in high school and how you had to look at the context clues to see like what the specific line meant. That's kind of how those films are supposed to be interpreted. If there's one that I think might be like a little weird to look at was my first Super 8 millimeter film called Escape. And I kind of knew that the medium itself is so funky and so weird, and it gives out such a beautiful look. So I was already really attracted to that. So I knew I wanted to make something kind of to match the vibes of the film, of the medium. What ended up happening was when I sent my film to be scanned, I sent it to like a lab in Chicago, I think, and it came back to me, and the first half of the film was fine, but then the second half was almost pitch black, and you can still see some of the scene, but it was almost as if you put the contrast of the video like super high. And I was devastated at first. I was like, oh my gosh, my film is ruined. What am I gonna do? um, but then I was like, wait, this film is supposed to be horror, so I kind of leaned into it. I thought about it for a second and realized that it actually kind of fits the vibe of the film. That film just kind of made me realize that I was into that kind of just funky, sort of abstract, experimental kind of style, because there was no dialogue, and it was kind of gonna go in a normal direction. And then when that sort of editing mistake or that scaling mistake happened, I leaned into it, and it actually improved my film. And so um, I that's kind of how it all started. I have ADHD, so a lot of just my approach to everything is messy and sometimes a little chaotic. It was hard to keep things organized. Mistakes were shown in the film all the time, and these weren't mistakes that I could embrace. These were just mistakes that just were obvious and like painful to watch. Um, I knew that I would have to shift the way I did filmmaking in order for me to enjoy it more. I just didn't know how. But after like that's my film escape, and I started working with more like funky ideas, it actually gave me the opportunity to be a bit more sporadic and loose with my planning and production, because before I would just kind of have to dedicate hours or even days to outline a film, plan it, do all the pre-production stuff. But now I kind of just embrace the chaotic side of it, and just I hate this term, but it kind of just describes kind of how I work. I just go off of vibes, and just I try not to push myself too hard, because I know I'll get burnt out, and that's what ended up happening when I was doing like the traditional style of filmmaking. So now I kind of just go into it, first of all, with a positive mindset, because even though I work messy, there has to be some kind of structure. So I make sure to keep myself aligned and know what direction I'm trying to go to. But when it comes to the planning, it's almost different every time now. It could be a different form of storyboarding that I do. I might do storyboarding one film, I might not do it the others. When it comes to like maybe like looking for locations, maybe one film I have like 2 locations down, and then for my second film, I don't find out the locations until the day of the shoot. So I actually found that this sort of chaotic, almost inconsistent style of production really aligned with how I worked, and the mistakes that came out of it felt more intentional and um, felt more of like the energy of like the films that I wanted to make. And so if there is a mistake in the films, I actually learned to embrace it rather than feel disappointed by it, because I knew coming in, like during the planning, that there was going to be mistakes. But I actually feel like the mistakes is what makes the films like really cool. Like for example, Escape. And just as like I like the imperfection of my planning, I like the imperfection of my films, and I actually think it makes it feel more authentic and more me, pretty much. So what does creative freedom mean to me as a creative, as a videographer slash filmmaker and photographer? I think for me, it means just finding something that you're truly passionate about, because I feel like sometimes we tend to have our creative direction be something that we think other people will like, instead of what we like. And so I think creative freedom means being able to find an identity that feels true to yourself, but is also consistently fun every time you do it. And I know if I keep just being myself with my filmmaking and photography, and I'm gonna reach that point. But now I just kind of have to be patient and just continue to explore my identity, continue to explore new filmmaking methods or techniques, because I'm still in my 3rd year of college. Like I'm still learning how to do filmmaking. So I shouldn't be a pillar of like knowledge or advice, but I think hopefully I can be like someone that can show you that you can still be imperfect and that can still be really, really beneficial for you.